Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading today from 10th Canto, chapter 85, text number 44. Idam ittham ite prāyas tava yogeśvareśvara vidanty yogeśā yoga-māyāṁ kuto vayam idam ittham iti prāyas tava yogeśvareśvara vidanty yogeśā yoga-māyāṁ kuto vayam idam ittham iti prāyas tava yogeśvareśvara vidanty yogeśā yoga-māyāṁ kuto vayam. Idam, this, ittham, characterized like this, iti, in such terms, prāyaḥ, for the most part, tava, your yoga-īśvara, of the masters of yoga, īśvara, O Supreme Master, na vidanti, they do not know, api, even, yoga-īśāḥ, the masters of yoga, yoga-māyām, your spiritual power of delusion, kutaḥ, what then of, vayam, us. Translation and purport. What to speak of ourselves, O Lord of all perfect yogis, even the greatest mystics do not know what your spiritual power of delusion is or how it acts. Everyone could please repeat. What to speak of ourselves, O Lord of all perfect yogis, even the greatest mystics do not know what your spiritual power of delusion is or how it acts. Purport. Systematic understanding of something should include knowledge of both its svarūpa, or essential identity, and also its viśeṣas, the attributes that make it different from other things. Māyā, the energy underlying all material existence, is more subtle than ordinary phenomena. Only God and His liberated devotees, therefore, can know its svarūpa and viśeṣas. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Ganam Jana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Mina Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya-manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakatahayam Dadati Swaparantikam Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyatishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this verse, spoken by Bali Maharaj, gives the descending order of understanding, and at the same time, the ascending order of understanding. In this sense, first of all, Bali Maharaj, he himself says he cannot understand Krishna because he addresses in verse 39, Namo Nandaya Briyate. He's actually speaking of Balaram, from whom the Chaturvyuha descend, from whom ultimately Sheshanaga, Brihate, the big Shesha, the big Ananta. And so then he can't address Krishna for several reasons. Although he recognizes Krishna, but he recognizes Krishna as Narayan. And later he will admit that you are the one who is actually so merciful, keeping guard to Sutala. He's not thinking you're doing it for me, because he's a pure devotee. He's thinking you're doing it to protect Sutala, because somehow or another, this is because I'm there and because of everything that happened. So actually, by excluding himself or putting himself in the last position, he's taking the position of an exalted devotee, who is a manina, not wanting any recognition. This is such a big problem, to be a manina in this world, to not want to be recognized. We all want to ascend to some bigger position, but we see the devotees, they aspire, as Lord Chaitanya, when he prays to Lord Jagannath, he says that Gopi Paratu Parakamalayor Dasa Dasa Anudasa, that before the Supreme Lord, so one may think, well, okay, I'll be Dasa Dasa Anudasa in front of the deity, but when I'm outside, I'm something else. But actually, because the devotee sees the Lord everywhere at all times, so therefore he's always before the Lord, and therefore always considers himself the servant of the servant of the servant. So Bali Maharaj is taking this position, and then he speaks the previous verses. He begins by saying, those that have some problem with you, of course, even sometimes the demigods, especially Indra, we just finished Govardhan Puja a few days ago, and Indra's envy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he addresses the Lord as someone who is amazingly so attractive that even demoniac persons can become attractive. Or in other words, he's so merciful that he extends his mercy even to demons, even by killing them. Bali Maharaj can understand this very easily, that if you would kill me, just like Prasad, he was saying, please kill me. Please, I want to get rid of this demoniac body so I can worship the Lord. So if Indra killing me or whatever has to happen, the Jayam Vijay, let me be killed again and again, if this is the Lord's desire, just so I can come back to my position of being his devotee. If I have to do something otherwise, the point is if I have to do something undesirable for the Lord. And what is desirable or undesirable? Whatever situation the Lord puts us in, that is desirable for the Lord. And therefore, there is really, from a devotee's point of view, there's nothing undesirable. The only thing undesirable is to forget about Krishna. Just like Srila Prabhupada in his famous Vyas Puja, he said, I know that I have crores of births awaiting me, but just let me not forget you. Doesn't matter what the situation. So this is Bali Maharaj. But he's putting himself in the last position, but he's actually in the first position. And he mentions the demigods. He says the demigods are the most unfortunate people because they are sakama bhaktas. And therefore, even though they have the opportunity to worship you and the knowledge to do so, they become bewildered. And this is why he's speaking the present verse. Now, who can understand your diluting potency, which has two aspects? Mahamaya, just like when Vyasadeva, after he was instructed by Narada Muni, Bhakti Yogena Manasi, he sat down and meditated, Sangya Panihite Male, with pure consciousness, Apashat Purusham Purnam. He could see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is what it means to have pure consciousness. And Mayam Chatara Pashrayam. He could see Māyā sheltered under the Supreme Lord. Now this is the author of the Vedas, the one who wrote it all down, the Shaktivesh avatar of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he's being instructed by his spiritual master. Therefore, this is the other aspect of Māyā, yoga-māyā. Yoga-māyā, sometimes the term yoga-māyā is used. It's like naham sarvasya. What is it? Naham naham prakasa sarvasya yoga-māyā samamritaha. That this yoga-māyā, but there obviously he's speaking about Mahamaya, because Mahamaya comes from yoga-māyā. But these two, in Bhagavad Gita, these two illusory potencies are working side by side. The Lord is revealing Mahamaya by putting Arjuna into yoga-māyā. So therefore yoga-māyā, because he's in yoga-māyā. But by that yoga-māyā, he's revealing Mahamaya. So here also, Bali Maharaj is speaking in such a way by the influence of yoga-māyā. But he's speaking about Mahamaya and its potency. Such a great potency it has. But who can understand this potency? Only a devotee. And therefore Krishna says, Daiviyesha gunamaya, Mahamaya duratyaya. She's Daiva. She is divine. He revealed. And therefore, who can really understand Māyā? Only a devotee can understand Māyā. Other people, they don't understand Māyā, they obey Māyā. A devotee understands Māyā and avoids her. But materialistic people, they obey her. Just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, that Jiv Jago, Jiv Jaya, Jiv Jago, that wake up, spirit soul, that you are sleeping in the lap of Māyā. Otherwise, Māyā is treating you very nicely sometimes, and then she's slapping you. So you're very foolish. You don't understand this potency. And what to speak of understanding the yoga-māyā potency? Mahamaya works under the shelter of Krishna. And yoga-māyā, apparently, even bewilders Krishna in a positive way. Therefore, just like Chaitanya Charitamrita, 4th chapter of Adi Lila, verses 29 and 30, they explain very in minute detail how yoga-māyā, first they explain how yoga-māyā puts the gopis into the illusion of thinking that they are Krishna's lovers. And then the next verse explains how she puts Krishna into illusion so that he can enjoy them. Just like sometimes yoga-māyā covers Krishna and sometimes she uncovers. Just like in Govardhan Lila, Krishna was enjoying, under the influence of yoga-māyā, wonderful pastimes with Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai. And then the deluge came from Indra, and yoga-māyā withdrew her potency. And he remembered, I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and my devotees are calling, I have to protect them. So she's very expert. She comes and she goes according to the situation, which is all created ultimately by Krishna's desire. So who can even understand this? But we can understand to some degree how yoga-māyā works by just seeing the parents of a child. Sometimes a child will hit his mother or his father, and they will act in such a way as if that was very painful for them. No? So this is, they act in such a way, they come under the control of the child. So this is the nature of yoga-māyā. But first, let's finish a little bit more with Mahamaya. That Mahamaya, which is it says here, and an interesting analysis in the purport, that we have to know the svarūpa and viśeṣas of Māyā, or anything. To understand it, you have to know its svarūpa, or its essential identity, or its essential purpose. As the essential identity of something determines its purpose. Just like our essential identity is jivatma, and therefore our purpose is to worship Krishna as jivatma. That identification defined. And then we can understand the activities of the pure spirit soul or the covered spirit soul, the viśeṣas, by whether it's covered or not covered by Mahamaya. When it's covered by Mahamaya, it has certain characteristics, like everybody in this material world, except for the devotees, except for the pure devotees, because even the devotees experience Mahamaya every once in a while, hopefully every once in a while, hopefully never, but hopefully if you have to experience it, just like Uddhava, where Krishna says to Uddhava, he says that this Mahamaya is very powerful. Parityage yadishvaram. That sometimes a devotee understanding how dangerous Maya is, he can understand, but he can't escape, can't control his senses all the time. So therefore, what is recommended? That he continues to worship Krishna in the best way possible. And by that worship, he will become purified. So that's Uddhava's advice to us, how to deal with Maya when she attacks. We don't just surrender, or even worse, justify that, everything comes from Krishna, and therefore what's happening now must be coming from Krishna. So, by understanding her characteristics, therefore Srila Prabhupada said, you must be afraid of Maya. This is the essence. You must be afraid of Maya, because she's very, very, very powerful. And if you're not afraid of Maya, just like Prabhupada said many times about those born where I was born, He said, the problem with you Americans is you're not afraid of Māyā. And devotees should be very afraid. Even there's one verse in the Bhagavatam where it says that Krishna and Balaram, they're apologizing when they meet Nanda Maharaj. I mean, when they meet, when they actually meet Vasudeva and Devaki, they say, we're sorry that we couldn't enjoy our pastimes with you, but we were afraid of Kamsa. So they appeared to be afraid of Kamsa, but they were actually not afraid of Kamsa. So sometimes a devotee appears to be afraid of Māyā, but they're not afraid of Māyā. So we have to be very, very careful with Māyā. Now, Prahlad Maharaj, he says in the beginning of his prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev, he says, I'm very afraid of your material energy. And later on, he says, I have no fear of your material energy. So how can we understand that? First he says, I'm afraid of it. But Srila Prabhupada explained it. He said, just like a mother may be walking near a body of water, so she's not afraid of the body of water, but if her child is with her, then she's afraid of it, because the child may fall in, so she's very careful. But if she's walking by the body of water, she's not afraid, because she has no fear of drowning. So, in the same way, Prahlad Maharaj said, because he was explaining, I have this demoniac blood, I was born in a demoniac family, just like Bali Maharaj here, and therefore I'm very afraid of your material energy, because I've been exposed to it. But later, when he says that I'm not afraid of it because I'm engaged in glorifying you constantly and all of your wonderful pastime. So this is how we can understand the svarūpa and the viśeṣas of Mahamaya. We can understand them by understanding that if we're not careful, if we're not worshiping Krishna, if we're not glorifying Krishna, if we're not connected to the Sankirtan movement, either by doing directly or indirectly or supporting or whatever situation we're in, we're not connected with this Sankirtan movement, or we're not connected with glorifying the deities by chanting, then this is all Sankirtan. And then we should be afraid of Māyā. But when we're situated in that position, then we don't feel fear of Māyā. So this is how we can understand this aspect. Now the other aspect of Bali Maharaj being, seeing himself very fortunate, because he says, I have received the mercy of Krishna. Somehow or another I've received your mercy. He said, I don't know why. I'm a demon. I'm adverse to you. He even says that. I'm adverse to you. No. I'm against you. But I love you. No. And so he's acting in this way. Just like Srila Prabhupada, sometimes we can understand his pastime when Damodar Maharaj announced that he was coming to see Prabhupada. So Prabhupada told his servant that, tell him I'm resting. He went into his quarters. And so when he came, Damodar, I want to see Swami Maharaj. Oh, I'm sorry, he's resting. You could tell him that I have come. No, he's resting now. Maybe you can come later. No, you tell him I have come. So Prabhupada heard this. He came out and he said, why didn't you tell me that Damodar Maharaj is here? So sometimes we have to take the adverse position for certain reasons. But Bali Maharaj is actually a pure devotee. And therefore, he's recognizing his wonderful position even though he thinks he doesn't deserve it. But he's very grateful to the Lord for that position. So this is yoga-māyā. Yoga-māyā allows him to think in this way, allows him to act as a pure devotee, just like Srila Prabhupada. Yoga-māyā allowed him to act as a pure devotee, even though he was the most humble person. Just like I've been mentioning in one beautiful letter of Srila Prabhupada to Hayagriva. He says in that letter that, thank you very much for your words, but I don't deserve this. I'm actually a very, worthless person, Prabhupada says. And he says, my Guru Maharaj forced me to do this. I didn't want to. I was reluctant, but he forced me. Therefore, it is all due to the mercy of my Guru Maharaj. And therefore, please don't consider me to have any qualification. All the qualification goes to my Guru Maharaj. I am just a useless individual. He said it goes like 3 or 4 times. So he's accepting, on the one hand, he's accepting the glorification of his disciple. And on the other hand, he's demonstrating his humility. But there were other times when he didn't demonstrate his humility. He would say to some disciple, why are you such a fool? This is a very difficult position. So this is actually, in the case of a devotee on the level of Srila Prabhupada, this is yoga-māyā. It allows him to subdue his humility so that he can act properly and chastise it. Otherwise, a spiritual master, if he just exhibits the humility, manadena, seeing everyone as my superior, then he could never chastise the disciple. And Srila Prabhupada says, a spiritual master who doesn't chastise his disciple is doing violence. It's actually violence. So it's a very delicate position. Just like we are in Damodar Mas, Damodar Lila, glorifying this one aspect of Krishna, his most cherished, wonderful, enjoying position of being controlled by his devotee. So Yashoda Mai, she controlled him very, very wonderfully. This is where this particular chapter, chapter 9 of the 10th canto, even though that control can be seen, this is where it's actually explained. It's explained that Tvam sandarshita yanga harina vityavashyata, that this most wonderful quality of the Supreme Personality of God is being exhibited to Yashoda when actually swa vashinapi krishnena, Krishna is completely in control of everything. And also yashyedam swashwaram vashe, and he's in control of great personalities. He's the Ishvara of the Ishvaras. Just like here it's mentioned, yogeśvareśvara. You are the supreme yogi of all the yogis. You are the greatest yogi of all the yogis. You are the Supreme Personality of God. So even though he's in that position, he's controlled by Mother Yashoda. And then Shukadeva Goswami says that nenam barincho na bhavo na shvir up yanga samshraya, that even Brahma and Shiva and even Lakshmi Devi, they can never experience prasadam liberated gopi, that the mercy that this gopi is receiving, yattad prapa vimuktidat. And Srila Prabhupada explains this word vimukti dat. He says, one thing is mukti, getting liberation, but vimukti dat is the liberation that Krishna gives his devotee, freedom from all other conceptions, so that the devotee can experience freedom from any conception other than worshiping Krishna. This is a special liberation that is given by Krishna to a devotee of that level. And then Shukadeva goes on to say that Am Shukapi Bhagavan Dehinam, that Sukapi, that a Dehina, a person who is embodied or a conditioned soul, Gopika Sutta, cannot experience what Mother Yashoda is experiencing. Jnaninam, even persons with great knowledge, or Chatma Bhutanam, or these jnanis who have so much experience, Yata Bhakti Matamiha, they cannot experience, they cannot see what a devotee can see. And this is what Bali Maharaj is explaining here. That a devotee under the yoga-māyā potency can see things that other people cannot see. And therefore, and what is that condition which allows a devotee to do that? Idam tate guyatamam pravaksham yana suyave. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, because they are free from envy. Because a devotee is free from envy. And therefore the Bhagavatam begins. If you want to understand this Bhagavatam, paramo nirmatsaram saranam satam, you have to be free from envy. Otherwise, we read the Bhagavatam, we hear it, and then, we go and do what we want. But if you're actually realizing the Bhagavatam and free from envy, it will make such an impact. Sorry about that. I don't know how to get this reattached. Oh, all right. So, sorry to interfere with your technological instruments here. So, if we actually hear this Bhagavatam so beautiful, so nicely explained, and so deep, that we must apply it to our lives. And this is what means, if we're envious of Krishna, then we want to go and enjoy just like Krishna. I heard the Bhagavatam, I did my duty, I went through the motions, now let me go do what I want. But if we hear the Bhagavatam, we will hear, yes, let me do what Krishna wants. And then the Bhagavatam goes on in the 11th, again, in the 11th chapter of the 10th canto. It begins by Nanda Maharaj unties Krishna. First he sees Krishna tied up. He thinks, why did Yashoda do this? Why is my wife tying up Krishna? But then he realizes she loves him. It must be out of love. He didn't really understand what happened, but it must, Yashoda, if she tied him up, must be out of love. So he unties Krishna, smiling. Somebody else would have thought, Yashoda is so cruel. Just like Srila Prabhupada gave the example that if a person who doesn't understand that a man is chastising his son, he thinks that man is being very cruel to that boy. No. But the father is doing it out of love. But some extraneous person will see differently. So then, Shukadeva Goswami explained that the elderly gopis, or Nanda Maharaj, the gopas and the gopis would tell Krishna, bring me this, bring me that. And sometimes they would say, bring some wooden shoes, or bring a measuring pot, or some piece of wood. And Krishna would go, and he would try to pick it up. Here is yoga-māyā. he's experiencing that. He's finding it heavy. He's holding up the three worlds. No. No. Just like when Haridas Thakur was meditating, when the people who were torturing him said, "Please die." So he thought, he entered into a profound state of meditation on Krishna in his heart. And therefore Krishna himself manifested, and all of the different forms of Krishna manifested in his heart. And therefore he became, and because within Krishna, as we hear in the Damodar-astakam, is contained the three worlds within his belly, all of that was within what I started thinking of Bali Maharaj. It was within Namacharya, Haridas Thakur, and nobody could lift him up. 100 people tried to lift him up. But because Krishna, with all of the three worlds, was within his heart, nobody could lift him. And so he can lift up anything, but he couldn't lift it up. But then he stands up and he goes like this, no? And everyone is captivated by this. And, I mean, even ordinary children can captivate their parents. No? Even if, like, sometimes in the temple, the children will run around and the parents think, "Oh, isn't this wonderful?" Everyone else thinks they're a disturbance. But the parents think, "Oh, it's so wonderful how they're playing." So this is Mahamaya, but a nice aspect of Mahamaya, which is actually descending from Krishna. So then it says they're just enjoying this so much that tadvasho daru yantravat, that Krishna is enjoying so much being under their control. And then Shukadeva Goswami says, Darshayam tadvidam loka atmano vrityavashyatam, that Krishna is amazing. He said he's amazing. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he's exhibiting himself. He's exhibiting to the whole world that my devotees can control me. And this is what we're singing every day in Damodar-astakam, that tadi eshda geshu bhaktarji tattvam. This is the recurring theme. First it begins that Yashoda biyo lukalad dhavamanam paramishtam atmatato jutya gopya, that she's running after Krishna and she's catching him. Krishna's allowing him. He's faster than the speed of the mind. And yet this gopi, who is weighted by her own full breasts and her wide hips, she can't run very fast. But she caught Krishna out of love. And then the next verse, bhakti badam, he's tied by the bhakti of his devotees. And then says, be careful, those of you who are seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead with opulence. Be careful. You cannot see what's happening here. Swagosham nirmanjantam akyapayantam. That these itvidik swalilabir anandakunde, that these residents of Vrindavan are being drowned in pools of ecstasy. And Krishna, when he sees them in those pools of ecstasy, he completely comes under their control. No. The residents of Vrindavan, only the residents of Vrindavan can do this. Although any devotee, Krishna comes under, Vishnu comes under the control of his devotee, but in a very different way. In a very different way. In the way of saving them, like Nrsimhadev. He saves him. And he comes under the control of his devotee because Prahlad Maharaj offers prayers. And by those prayers, he becomes subdued. The demigods couldn't subdue him. Even Lakshmi could not calm him down. But Prahlad with his prayers. So he comes under control, but in a very formal way. No. Vishnu comes under the control of Gajendra by his prayers, and he appears. The demigods were thinking, look at this stupid elephant. No, he's praying. Even when we pray, we can't get, the Lord will not come when we pray. And then they see Lord Vishnu coming. Oh, we made a mistake. Then they come behind and start glorifying Gajendra. We made a mistake, but let's correct it very quickly, because otherwise our source of enjoyment might get cut off. So the demigods, therefore Bali is mentioning the demigods, they get confused. But ultimately they regain their composure and understand he's the supreme. But then start enjoying life again. Has anyone experienced this? Sometimes we remember Krishna, we're in a very prayerful mood, then material energy, when we're sakama bhaktas, then we start to enjoy the material world again. In so many different ways. Even the renunciants. Srila Prabhupada said, even a sannyasi can become attached to his danda and kamala. So, what to speak of everybody else? It's very strong, this yoga-māyā. Very difficult to understand, as this verse is exemplifying. But this whole Damodar Astakam that we're singing is just going over this point again and again. Kuver Rajo, Baddha, that the Lord, actually in that case, it's not a Manigrivan Nalakuvara, it's Narada. Narada cursed them. Generally, devotees don't curse. But he cursed them to give them the mercy, you will be able to associate with Krishna. First, I'm going to take away your opulence so that you can be prepared. And you just have to do 1,000,000 years of austerity, a few million years of austerities. That's all. Just like Mukunda. When the Lord said he wouldn't see Mukunda, and then finally he said, I will see him after 1,000,000 lifetimes. Mukunda was in ecstasy. I only have to wait 1,000,000 lifetimes. And we can't wait even a few years. If we don't get the results that we want from Krishna, or even worse, when we get the results, just like Srila Prabhupada says in his Purport to the 9th chapter, 3rd verse of Bhagavad Gita, when those who approach the Lord get what they want, then they sometimes go away. But sometimes we can't understand, why is Krishna not giving me what I want? I've been doing service. Why is Krishna acting like this? Can't understand. So, but these devotees are willing to live 100 lifetimes, many years, 1,000 years. Doesn't matter. I wait. Whenever Krishna mercy comes, I will wait until that comes. And actually, they don't have to wait, because they see everything that's happening in their life as Krishna's mercy. Tatenu kampam susamikshmana munjane vatmakritam vipakam. Because atmakrita, they attribute anything that's happening to me. It's happening to me. I'm getting the reaction, but Krishna's mercy is making that reaction tolerable. And he's also converting it by giving me this transcendental knowledge. He's converting it into a lesson which I can learn. And therefore, I have to see it as Krishna's mercy. So this is the beauty of bhakti. But we can only see that beauty if we carefully study Bhagavad Gita, so that we can prepare ourselves to see when these things happen. We see, we overcome anger, we overcome lust. Bhagavad Gita instructs us how to do that. And once we do that in a bit of a mechanical way, then Bhagavatam takes us to the point of actually seeing things in a deeper way. That this is all Krishna's mercy. And Chaitanya Charitamrita makes it even sweeter by associating with pure devotees. Then we can, or being instructed by pure devotees, then we can relish the beautiful, wonderful pastimes of Krishna. So, in this way, Bali Maharaj is glorifying Krishna's Māyā. So powerful. It must be coming from Krishna. It must be empowered by Krishna. And we should also see in that way how this wonderful material energy is acting in such a way. Even Krishna himself, in Gita Mahatmya, he's seems to be amazed with Lord Vishnu. And Lakshmi asks him, why are you so contemplative? I can't believe how wonderful my material energy is working. Because even Vishnu himself, he wants to enjoy with his devotees. But we want to reduce Krishna down to taking care of my material affairs. That Krishna or Vishnu should take care of, what's ever happening in my life. You should straighten it out. And especially those people who are against me. Should straighten them out. So we don't want to employ Krishna in our service. We want to engage ourselves in his service. And then this wonderful Damodar pastime, this wonderful section of the Bhagavatam becomes realized. Then it's revealed to us, as Bali Maharaj says, because we're acting like devotees, we're thinking like devotees. Then it's revealed. Otherwise, even we won't understand it, because we're not on that platform like Bali Maharaj, who's actually understanding everything, even though he says he's not. So these are some thoughts on this verse of the Bhagavatam. I'll stop here. Are there any comments or questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj. It was...
Oh.
Hare Krishna.
Somebody else got... you got hold of the microphone.
Yeah.
Even though I saw him first.
Hi.
No, go ahead, Radhesham Prabhu.
Maharaj, you were beautifully presenting the theme of fear of Maya. I had a question. When we empower the devotees with facilities for preaching, or empower them with some position and send them on a challenging project or something like that. So where do we draw the line between fear of Maya on one hand and yukta vairagya on the other?
Yes, well, of course here, he's not even getting to the point of fearing Maya. He's saying you don't fear Maya because you don't understand her. Otherwise, all these people, demons, demigods, they don't even fear Maya because she's so wonderful that she can act and make them do so many foolish things, and they don't even know what's happening. But a devotee, also if they're too much influenced by sakama bhakti instead of niskama bhakti, then or bhakti, yoga misra bhakti or karma misra bhakti, they become bewildered. So therefore we have to, when we associate with devotees who are not under the influence of Maya, then this is the solution. This is the actual solution, that we can overcome Maya by seeing those devotees, how they're acting in Krishna consciousness. And therefore the association of devotees, Bhakti Shanivas. The other day I was referring to 13th chapter of 10th canto. In the 53rd verse, it speaks of swabhava, our nature. Now Bhagavad Gita is spoken to allow us to tune our nature, according to our nature, to worship Krishna in that way. But in that Srila Prabhupada quotes that Narottam Das Thakur, Bhakti Shanivas. If we associate with devotees, we can understand our real nature. Otherwise, we don't even have to be trying to dovetail our conditioned nature in Krishna consciousness. We can, by the pure teachings of the pure devotees, we can understand our real nature. So, in this way, Māyā becomes completely understood by the association of devotees. So, this is what we're doing right now. Every time we come to hear the Bhagavatam, we're understanding the nature of Māyā.
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for explaining the beautiful position of Bali Maharaj, that how he keeping himself in the end. And this is the exalted position of devotee.
How? Just wait till the bell stops. Okay.
Beautifully explaining the position of Bali Maharaj, that how he exalted, that keeping himself is in the end. That is why he is exalted. He's an exalted position. But in my consciousness, if I consider before the deities, we think I am the devotee, I am servant. But in outside, like among the devotees or among the materialistic person, I think I am something. I owe some position. So how this mood can be cultivated in practical way, to consider oneself a servant of Krishna in all the positions.
I didn't catch that last part.
How to cultivate that mood of being servant of Krishna in all the states.
Associate with the Vaishnavas. No. Otherwise, how can we understand pure devotion other than associating with pure devotees? And therefore, all of us have the opportunity to associate with Srila Prabhupada through his books. And then we associate with advanced devotees who make sure that we're not interpreting Srila Prabhupada's books according to our mental desire or our intellectual limitation. No. Because sometimes Prabhupada explains everything very perfectly, but our intellect doesn't capture it. Just like one time Prabhupada was speaking to one delegate of the World Health Organization, and Prabhupada was explaining, trying to explain how people are working so hard in this material world for nothing. And he couldn't quite catch it. Then Prabhupada gave the example of a prisoner who's in the prison, and another prisoner tells him, if you just obey the law, being a good person in here, then you'll get out. But the other one says, I don't have time for that. I'm breaking bricks. And so Prabhupada gave that, he didn't understand it. But he said, well, thank you very much, Swami. I have to go break some bricks. No. He just couldn't understand. So that's the same thing. Our intelligence, if it's not tuned in properly to Krishna consciousness, is not purified by hearing Gita, hearing Bhagavatam, and associating with devotees, then we can easily not capture what Srila Prabhupada is saying. And what to speak of our mental desires and our senses overwhelming us. So therefore, association with devotees is the ultimate factor to, even when we have Srila Prabhupada's books, to make sure, and that's why Prabhupada established this Bhagavatam class, Bhagavad Gita class, so that we understand. And that's why Prabhupada wanted devotees to ask questions, so that, to make sure that they understood. Even one time, nobody asked a question, and Prabhupada said, so then you have not understood? Because, I heard the class, and I heard the Prabhupada say that. It was pretty clear. But just Prabhupada wanted to make sure that everybody understood. But sometimes devotees don't ask questions because they think, someone will think I'm not so intelligent. I don't understand devotional service. and therefore they don't ask the question. And that may be true. Other people may think that, but that's not, we're not concerned about that. We're concerned about understanding. One more question, only because it's Rukmini Krishna.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Like this verse, Purport is saying the Maya has essential quality and viśeṣas, svarūpa and viśeṣas. Svarūpa we can understand forgetfulness of Krishna. What is viśeṣas of Maya?
Yeah.
What is the Vishesh feature of the Māyā?
Viśeṣas, or the we can see that viśeṣas everywhere. No, the qualities of Māyā are how, just like Yudhishthira Maharaj answering Yamaraj's question, what is the most wonderful thing? He said that my grandfather, my great-grandfather has died, my grandfather has died, my father is dying, but I will not die. That's one of the many viśeṣas of Māyā. And, the whole variegated idea of enjoying this material world, that is the viśeṣa of Māyā. That she can, even though we hear the Bhagavatam, and she makes us think that now I want to enjoy. That's another one of her viśeṣas. So, yes, Devaki Nanda Prabhu.
Maharaj, you said that we should be afraid of Maya. Which Maya? Yoga-māyā or Mahamaya?
Well, sometimes,
Mention here yoga-māyā.
sometimes it's the opposite of what it should be. We should be very afraid of Mahamaya and very welcoming yoga-māyā. But sometimes we're afraid of yoga-māyā. If I surrender too much to Krishna, how will I accomplish what I want to in my life? Let me be very careful not to surrender too much. Otherwise, I may lose this. What will happen to my family? Like Prachinya Bharisha, in the story, what will happen to my wife and children if I die? So that's sometimes the opposite. We're afraid of yoga-māyā, afraid of this surrendering totally to Krishna.
Should we be afraid or not? My question is. Should we be afraid of yoga-māyā or not?
No, we should not be afraid of her. Yeah. But sometimes we are. And we therefore, because we welcome Mahamaya, we're afraid of yoga-māyā. Okay, so thank you all very much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.